Hi, Henrik here, and this is a screencast getting ready for the next course on 19th of September. Link to screencast, and first of all, what's the agenda? The agenda for our next meeting will be, first we'll discuss this exercise. It's 2 times 3 questions. I want you to write down 3 questions that you have or comments that you have concerning chapter 15. So what do you have? 3 questions concerning chapter 15. Write them down, bring them with you. Then I want you to have a look at this link and please give me find 3 comments, 3 ways, 3 angles that you think this could be interesting, or you disagree, or some way that you say this could be developed further, you have an opinion. And following that, which I expect to use the first lesson on, I will be discussing entering new markets. This is basically what's in chapter 15. I won't be doing too much about chapter 15 because you've already had it and you have the chance to discuss and have the 3 questions. So we'll be moving on, taking some different perspectives, where I'll be making some supplementary comments based on Hollison's global marketing. Then we'll be discussing entering new markets and knowledge. What is the importance of core competencies and how should this be tackled? And basically what's the game here is finding out the organization's core competencies and making quite sure that the company keeps a leading edge on these core competencies. So if they outsource them, they not only endanger others being able to get a hand on them, but they also stop their internal competence development in a sense. Of course they can pursue it outside, but they're not there to push it forward and keep their competitive advantage. And then we'll be discussing entry modes, and then we'll have an exercise applying the entry modes, probably to the case that you had today with Bang & Olufsen. So looking at different entry modes that they could adapt, and then looking at some pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages with these entry modes. Then we'll be looking at the business model cube, understandings and use. And finally, an exercise applying the business model cube. So, if we were to make a recap of our discussions today, what I found was important. I think it's very important that you consider and are attentive to the level of analysis. It's very important to be able to understand which level you're using the different theoretical models on and what the implications are. What is it that you can say something about, and of course also what can you not say anything about that is so you can, in principle, you can only conclude or come with some suggestions on the specific level of analysis that you have made, that you have determined beforehand. Otherwise, you have to make some specific limitations. Excuse me. And then we covered the Pestel. You've had that, seen it. It was important and interesting to see that when you're using it, then you don't use it blindly, but you choose which ones are most relevant, and then dig deeper and look into the importance, how this can influence a question that you're discussing. Porter's diamond could be used. It was solid suggested. It's can be used at some more national level, and Porter's 5 forces much more on the branch level, and then moving down to the next issues could then be something at the company level. For example, customer perceived value. So inside out, how does a company see that they deliver value? What is it they think they're delivering? Could also be an outside in approach. What is it actually that the customers, end users, find as the actual CPV? It's not necessarily the same. The company may think it's selling something and the customers are buying something else in their mind. Give it some thought, and as we were shortly discussing today, perhaps Bang & Olufsen have misunderstood what it actually is that they're selling, where the customers have a completely different understanding, and this mismatch does that they're constantly losing track of the success that they previously have experienced. And then on segmentation, then others that we could include also. So that's the recap. And if we go quickly into market entry, then as the book correctly states, it's telling, first it's a question of deciding which markets to enter. So this would be analysis actually before actually making a pastel, which is more national. So which markets is it that we're interested in entering, and why? Is it due to market share? Is it due to a potential market share? As the example in the book with General Motors quickly moving into China due to the potential that they saw in this market. One of the drawbacks with the book is it very much focuses on large organizations, McDonald's, General Motors, etc. So try, when you're reading, when you're reflecting on it, try to consider smaller organizations. I wouldn't say Lego or Bang & Olufsen, but even smaller. E-Tibber, just up the road. They're trying to get into these markets. So try and take the view of different types of organizations and different sizes of organizations. There's actually good training. When should we enter? So what's the timing? And at what scale? So which velocity, how much are we going to invest? We'll be getting this back to this at a later stage when we're talking about chapter 18, because as it's mentioned in reading for today, it's also a question of risk, and that's quite an interesting area. So how much risk is the organization willing to take? And we'll take that in much more detail on the 26th of September when we're talking about global marketing, research and development. So the book suggests greenfield. This is also an internal market entry. Internal in the sense they own the plant that is being established. There's also some places it's called a hierarchical. Again, they own, so they're in the top, and they actually have access and can completely control what is happening in this organization that they were establishing on a new market. So greenfield, same as internal, same as hierarchical, which is one of the ways, and we'll be quickly discussing acquisition. So instead of building from scratch, you acquire a company that to some extent is within the same business or has this, customers that you want to get in contact with. Then you can make a strategic alliance, work together with another company that is already there, typically one that is known for the customers within this country that you're entering. So strategic alliance is often with a national company that you're entering in the country you're entering that has excellent contact to the customers that you want to address. And finally, there's the agents, etc., which is external mode. So you're externalizing the marketing and the sales, etc., to some other company, as opposed to up here where we have it within the organization, within the hierarchy. Acquisition, where it's still within the hierarchy, but we're buying a new culture, we're buying another organization. Strategic alliance, we're pairing ourselves with another company. What we have in common is typically interest in the customer base. So pause and take yourself quickly through all these. So this is the same organization. C is a customer. So it's a hierarchical mode. We own the whole business until it goes out to the customers. Here we have the border. This could be Denmark. This could be India if it's a Bang & Olufsen, or some other country that we're entering. So look through each of those and comment on it. Think this is where we're actually selling directly to the customer. This is where we're establishing sales and services in the foreign country, but we still own it because it's hierarchical mode, and we're using the value chain perspective. So we're using the value, where there's value produced in the research and development, in the production, in the marketing, sales and services. Traditionally, in most value chains, sales and services, being the last part. Look through each one of them individually and make sure you understand them thoroughly. If not, this is one of the questions you could come up with on Monday. So next one is external export modes. So this is where we don't own the organization. We don't have influence. We have our research and development, production, marketing. But for third countries, we either have this solution, whereas another organization, B, that does the sales and service to the country we're addressing. This, whereas the marketing and sales and service, so in a sense, we're piggybacking. We're jumping onto the back with our product and getting them to do the marketing and the sales and service. This, we're moving the marketing, sales and service to another organization that we don't actually. So this is through an agent or a distributor. Again, C is a customer. So the agent or the distributor is here. So this would be direct export. Indirect export, because it goes to another organization that then does the exporting. Here, we'll take the product directly to the country and then it's sold from there. And then we have these situations where it goes to another organization that does the marketing and the sales and exports. Have a look at them, make sure you understand them, and you know what the difference is between them. And I explained this one and this one. This cooperative export, this is actually where we have 3 different organizations that all have an interest in this country over here. So these 3 have made a corporate export. So they go together and either establish their own group. If they own it, then it's actually hierarchical also. If it's to a third party, let's say an import group that says we import this type of goods and we'll sell it for you in our country, then it's a cooperative export, where it's an external. So if they don't own it, it's external. If they go together and make a co-ownership, then this B would be owned by these 3 companies, and in that sense it would be hierarchical, but it will also be cooperative because it's a cooperation between three different organizations.